All right, Ceramics One. I wanted to make an extra video on hollow construction because I showed you one way of making two pinch pots and putting them together, and I have one more way that might be easier. And I just thought I'd show it to you. You can choose either method, either technique of hollowing out, because all we want is a structure in which to be able to build onto to make kind of a sculpture or a functional piece. But it really just hollowing out a larger sphere, right? So I wanted to show you a second way. Here I have my sphere, and I'm going to go ahead and turn off my fuzzy background because I think that would help a little bit. All right, so here's my sphere, and it is solid right now. And what I'm going to do is either take my wire tool or my metal rib, and I'm just going to cut right through the middle. I think I'm going to use my wire tool. So I'm just going to push it down. And now I have two halves. Now, instead of making these into little pinch pots, I'm going to be carving them out using my metal carving tools, my loop tool and my larger loop tool. And this way, I'm not like pinching anything, and the diameter should stay really consistent. So I'm going to do that now. So you do need to be careful about the thickness all the way through, because similar to the other technique, we want 1/4 of an inch thick all the way around and even on the bottom. So you just have to be a little bit careful to not pop your loop tool through, and making sure that all the edges are the same thickness. And then we're just going to go ahead and slip and score those together. One thing to think about when you put your two sides together is if there is a little bit of a gap on the seam, I'm going to teach you how to correct that. So I'm putting them together, being gentle that they are lining up and not smushing my sphere. I kind of go like this with my hands cupped like a ball. And then I'm just blending that seam together. I'm using my thumb and my pointer finger to just go around the outsides and blend. If you are really good at this, they will look like you haven't done anything at all, and it will look like the ball you started with, only hollow. But sometimes there's a little bit of a divot right on the line. So what I do is I take a little piece of my extra clay and I roll it into a really thin baby coil to put around the outside edge. And when I say really thin, I mean really thin. So I'm rolling out my coil to be like just about as thin as possible, like this, maybe a little bit thinner even, nice and even. And then I just dunk that in water. And then I find the edge of my seam and I run this little baby coil around the edge of my seam. I did a pretty good job blending it, so I honestly can't see it very well. And then I just go ahead and smear that and blend that in. And that'll fill in any of those cracks, and it'll get rid of any divot that you might have. Just like that, so you can't see it anymore. And there's my hollow construction using a different technique.